French Tech is a global entrepreneurial movement from all over the world of people who want France to become the kind of great place for startups to start, to scale, and to skyrocket. And not just any startups, but startups that are meaningful to us and meaningful to the future of the country and the world. The question is, how does French Tech see tech for good? And maybe with regard to the work of the French Tech mission, how are we looking at the topic right now? Again, I think there's a lot of debate on tech for good and social innovation because nobody knows quite where it sits. In our case, I think it's very clear in the sense that it's not a vertical. So for us, the issue happens, I think, on two levels. The first level is how do we make sure that startups, even those that aren't necessarily B Corp, even those that don't get on stage and appear in the right magazines and say that they're doing like social good and things like that, how do we get those guys to make sure that the general level of everything that they do with regards to society levels up a little bit? I mean, we're looking at we're living in like crazy times right now, right? We're living at a time where blockchain can take up as much energy as an entire country, where we're talking about generations of entrepreneurs, but we're also seeing generations of food delivery and generations of Uber drivers, and we're also looking at a time where we're getting these really strange sort of behaviors in terms of diversity, in terms of like feeling safe in the environment. So I think tech for good, if we were going to go that far, it needs to start at tech for what's right. And I think that's a general level for everyone. And the second thing is on what I was talking about earlier in terms of actual technology. There are some problems that are really hard, and really hard problems sometimes really need hard tech. And also, I think just as it is the case in the more private sector and the more like sort of non-impact, like 100% impact-driven tech, talent is a big challenge for both. And so I think when you're talking about bringing the right people, like bringing innovators together, when we're talking about people, and we're seeing talent gaps across all sorts of different verticals, all sorts of different sectors, all sorts of different parts of the funding level. So the question isn't how do we build a separate ecosystem that's just for social good, and have them be friends with the other French Tech ecosystem. Is how do we make this the same one? So cities have always been some of the best laboratories for the future. And I'm really excited to see the possibility of it being a laboratory, not just for any future, but for the future that we want the most, and the kind that is driven by impact, the kind that is driven by a certain solidarity. And I'm happy this is what's happening here and that French Tech can take part of it.